Dungeons and Dragons fans, you are welcome. Here we go again, round 2 with a local legend who's got another live show, another live brunch mixed with D&D. I'm your host, Logan, here with Scotty Scoop, the Giggler, and back for more, Sam the DM, Sam the Dungeon Master. This is Mostly Superheroes. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Mostly Superheroes, back here in the studio, St. Louis, Missouri, in the basement with a new fresh setup that we are certainly enjoying. We got the space. We finally got every wall covered ear to ear just in time for a big guest. Coming off some reviews on the podcast. Thanks for coming back, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, watching us on YouTube, or at our website, mostlysuperheroes.com. We appreciate you, and we have one for you today. Giggler, you are meeting for the first time Mr. Sam the DM, Sam the Dungeon Master. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I certainly appreciate y'all having me back. It's nice. And yeah, your listeners should know this place is absolutely just spattered, just absolutely like spackled with incredible comic book artwork and artifacts that I'm honestly jealous of as a comic book nerd myself. There's some really choice pieces in here that might be leaving with me if y'all aren't careful.
Very nice. I'm actually very proud to have a fellow nerd in here that's, threatening to steal some of the stuff in here, because that means you're doing it right. And last time you were on the podcast, we had you on back in November 2023, plugging the first time you were doing one of these events. Now we're having you back again, and a callback to that episode. We said we needed to get more D&D stuff in here, and I'm going to say Scotty Scoop. Welcome back, Scotty Scoop.
I'm back.
You failed. I'm saying you failed. Because it's your job to get the Dungeons and Dragons stuff in here. And, I mean, we have plenty of DC. We got plenty of Marvel. I mean, there's more Superman in here than anything else I've learned. Maybe some more Batman. But where's the D&D?
I got it loaded up, man.
What is it?
I was saving it.
What do you have? What do we put out? Dice? Pieces?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it all.
A poster?
Yeah.
The Chris Pine movie?
We can get us all in the garb. We'll all get dressed up.
Okay.
We'll have a photo shoot. We could go LARPing.
If I'd known this was going to be like a cosplay thing, I would have brought my equipment. Like,
yeah.
You gotta let a motherfucker know if
my leather breastplate,
fantasy with it,
and my sword. I have a sword in my office.
We're not scared to dress up on this podcast. Andy's always been pushing us to dress up more on the show.
I agree. I mean,
do you have a sword in your home office or at your office at your job?
My office at my job.
They let you have a sword there?
It's a broadsword with a skull pommel, skull and crossbones, and the bones come out. And they are separate knives.
Fantastic. That is the most mall ninja shit I've heard in a long time. That's incredible. That's an incredible piece.
It is not sharp. Thank goodness. I
course.
was carrying it through my kitchen one day, as you do, ready for danger, and it actually hit the ceiling fan and hit me right in the face.
We've all done it.
Thank God it's not sharp.
Oh my God, Scott.
Yeah, in case the FBI is listening, it is not sharp.
No,
he did
not sharp.
Threaten to kill the president at all.
Yes.
That's how you end up. That's how you end up with your medical emergencies. Is stuff just like that. And I also am realizing now you've had your job for like 20 years, which is longer than you're like one of my dad's friends or something. Like,
yeah,
I've always wondered, like, how do you have a? It's because of the sword.
God.
Yeah. Oh, they're never gonna get rid of me.
It's the sword in the bones.
I will stalk from office to office with my broadsword.
There you go.
And roll intimidation checks all day.
Also, I didn't know it was possible to burn someone for having a job for 20 years.
No, I'm just saying to anyone.
You're like one of my
You're
dads.
like one of my dad's
the dad
friends.
It's funny that it wasn't even my dad. It was one of his friends. Like,
it's just really good.
Well, we're gonna take that energy into a segment that we call
Fan Mail.
See how I didn't say the name of it that time?
Yeah.
Before we did it. Welcome back to Fan Mail. We have some winners to announce. One Night of Queen at the Factory in, I keep saying Chesterfield. I think it's St. Charles.
It's Chesterfield.
It is
Factory,
Chesterfield.
yeah.
The Factory, amazing venue, getting bigger and bigger names all the time. One Night of Queen is happening there this March on a Sunday night. I believe it's March 17th.
Yeah.
Gary Allen and the works. Congratulations to fans that entered and won on the podcast. Jennifer B., Mandy R., and Brandon R. We're sending you to One Night of Queen. Congrats.
Woo! Ow, ow, ow!
Yes, and you're going to see a celebrity there. Scotty Scoops
That's
going.
right. I'll be there.
You're taking a slew of people.
See if you can find me. Yeah,
Incredible.
I've already got. There's 4 of us, and I think I got 2 more tickets. I'll fill them.
Oh, wow.
Are you bringing your sword with you? Did you get a ticket for the sword? Because I don't know if security is going to let that fly home.
Well, I've got my bag of holding.
I think it's hilarious.
It'll go in
AKA
there.
fanny pack.
You're a host on a talk show, and you're like, I got 6 tickets. You know, I've only used 4 of them so far. I'll get 2 more friends.
Yeah. I will make 2 friends,
Listen,
and they will go.
Here's what we're gonna do too. You are still welcome to enter for these tickets at mostlysuperheroes.com/contest. If you get your entry in and Scotty still hasn't found friends, we'll send you to the show.
Yes.
And then they can sit by you. That'd be
Yeah,
kinda cool.
that's right.
That'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of like a meet and greet.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, Isaac in Minnesota said thank you to us for sending him Blue by Weezer, a vinyl, because we give away records on this podcast.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations, Isaac. Sent us a nice picture here. He is on Instagram at, help me out, Sam. What's that say? Isaac
Edlund. Isaac.
Holistic.
Holistic?
Isaac Holistic.
Isaac Holistic.
Isaac Holistic. That's tough to say.
That's an incredible tongue twister. ISAKOLISTIC.
And I'm pretty.
Isaac Holistic.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think this Isaac might be affiliated with the Infinity Bros podcast, which I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure. I'm confirm for me, Isaac, if that's you. If not, either way, enjoy Weezer. We'll always give away vinyls on the show, and we are giving away a vinyl right now, replacing that one. We got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Ooh.
You go enter at the website. You can get this. That was from a nomination from Martin at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge here in St. Louis, where we just spent a lovely Wednesday night a few weeks back at the shop. Obviously, friends of Sam the DM. I was texting him before we started the show, and he says, "Hello, Martin from Apotheosis. Hello, Sam."
Hi, Martin.
You better be listening.
He knows what that means.
Yeah, that's the inside. That's the inside. You guys actually, yeah, you were doing stuff at Apotheosis, and he helped you guys put on the last event at the City Winery, and we're leading to the next one. Throw out that date for us. You're going to be there April 7th. April 7th at 10 is when the show is. Yeah, we're doing Bubbles and Bards round 2. April 7th at the City Winery, and it is a brunch show that features a Dungeons & Dragons one-shot performed live on stage. I run a game for some local comedians and improvisers who are very talented. They made some very funny characters, and with the audience involved and, affecting the roles and all that stuff. And yeah, tickets are available at citywinery.com/St. Louis. Yeah, April 7th. Doors are at 11. Having you back to do it again, bro. Congratulations.
I certainly appreciate that. Yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise that so many people came out for the last one, and I can't wait to get going on this next show. We're prepping some more ways for the audience to get involved, including like picking out the monsters that the heroes fight and what traps and stuff might lie in store for them. So if you get tickets to the show, you will be part of the story we tell, as well as a audience member. So
yeah, and we're gonna leave that as a teaser because we're gonna save the big event for the meet as well. So more teasers. We're gonna dive in, give you more of what you can expect. Go buy your tickets now at St. Louis City Winery. You can go to their website, and we also have mostlysuperheroes.com/contest. We would love to send you to this event. If you enter online, we'll help send you as well. And Scotty Scoop's gonna be there.
I'll be there.
Taking +1.
Lila.
Lila.
Yeah.
That's one of his daughters. So you guys are going to have a lovely time, and we'll talk more about that at the meet. Right now, let's go to the next segment.
News and rumors.
We are announcing. You laughing at the segments?
the bumpers are incredible.
Oh,
no, I'm
thank you so much.
I'm delighting
News
at
and
the
rumors.
bumpers. They're fucking great. I wish I had bumpers on my show. We just have fucking lame ass harp music. We
Bro.
don't have bumpers.
Before you leave, Just think of the top 10 things. We'll have you say them while you're here. I'll make these for you, and I'll send them to you. I'm happy to do that. And plug your podcast.
Oh, my podcast is Challenge Rating 0. It's available wherever you find podcasts. It's actual play D&D podcast I make with my friends. Please continue with your news. I'm so sorry.
Hey, listen, I'm running the show here, okay? I know when to squeeze these things in. We do have some news, though. We're going to announce on our podcast, Mostly Superheroes, our Screen and Social Round 2. We're going to do it July 27th. You know the movie. Anybody figure it out yet? Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, my goodness. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Opening weekend.
Opening weekend. If you're not familiar with our Screen and Social, it's a really great time. We had a band. We had a brunch. I guess we're a big fan of brunches, Sam, on this podcast. And we did it at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema. We believe this is where it'll be again. Details are still coming together, but go ahead and mark your calendars. July 27th, we'll have vendors back. We've already got some committed sponsors that are going to be throwing down big. A portion of the money that we raise will go to charity. So we're really excited to do some good at the Mostly Superheroes Screen and Social 2024, July 27th. Mark your calendars. Also in the St. Louis area, but also this is international news. Monopoly by Hasbro is officially making a St. Louis version of the game. That's right. We'll give it up for that. And Mostly Superheroes was there. We got invited, and we got to be there with the mayor, Tashara Jones of St. Louis at Pieces and Soulard.
I saw pictures of that in the paper. Very cool.
Very cool. We were lucky to be there, and we have it linked up on our site so that really, here's the big thing for you listening right now. If you want to submit your ideas to get something on the board for St. Louis Monopoly, now is the time. Go to mostlysuperheroes.com/Saint-Louis /Saint-Louis.monopoly. I'll never plug that. That'll not actually be what I'll say.
There's so many dashes.
We're gonna do. We're gonna do something else.
It's a dash apocalypse.
We would say go to mostlysuperheroes.com and find our Monopoly page under St. Louis. You can enter your ideas to get your ideas on the board, and it's pretty exciting. Super excited for St. Louis to be represented by Monopoly.
How many people do you think said Monsanto? Or do you think the city in general is trying to like avoid that connotation?
You know, that's a good roundtable of like your top three. So Monsanto, you're going like pay to play.
Well,
you're saying like
I just assumed Monsanto bought
money.
like a third of the board, like because they got it like that.
And for international people, Monsanto is essentially Bayer, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There's been jokes about what's going to be on it. Like, you know, there's some staple stuff in St. Louis. This is really great for international folks listening. You know, we got the St. Louis Arch. Busch Stadium was where the St. Louis Cardinals play baseball. That'll be on there. Forest Park might be on there. I've heard a rumor.
We need to make it way more localized with like a square for pork steaks, or maybe you get like a pork steak game piece, or like toasted
T-Rav.
ravioli. Yeah, for sure.
That's really good. I sent in
very thin crust pizza.
There you go. I sent in some submissions of my own. Tried to get some local folks in town. You know, maybe a brewery, maybe a hot dog shop. Who knows? I threw in some ideas, so you can too.
Did you send a check with your ideas, or
no?
Oh, okay.
But you know, they replied and said thanks. So at least I know someone got it.
Yes. There's no way they automated
that automated message was so polite. Oh man.
We're really doing local stuff right now, and I love it. This is a very local episode. Speaking of the City Winery St. Louis, our friend Steve Ewing is also performing on stage there. Very excited to promote his show. It's coming right around the corner here on March 16th. That's this Saturday. Doors at 6. Starts at 7:30 p.m. You can buy those tickets at citywinery.com. We have it linked up in today's episode.
The guy looks great.
Doesn't he?
He still looks amazing. And let me just say, from a personal note, to again interrupt the flow of your amazing program.
This is why you're here.
The fact that I live in a dimension where I perform on a stage that Steve Ewing also performs on, it's fucking insane.
You're talking about this table, right?
I've slipped it.
He sat in your chair, my
absolutely.
friend.
No, it's absolutely, for sure.
But also the City Winery stage, literally the same stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro.
No, I mean, round of applause for you guys for getting Steve Ewing in the hot seat. That's fucking incredible. The man's an actual legend. You're a little too generous about me before. But
no.
Yeah, the fact that I get to go to City Winery and perform on the stage that has this caliber of performers, fucking ridiculous.
That's why we bring it back in, dude. It's an epic venue, it's an intimate stage, and it's in the City Foundry, which is just so cool. Just a cool spot. Anything Dungeons and Dragons related in the news world, we have something that we want to share that's related to Sam. Should we just jump right to it, man? You teased this last time that you had your own D&D adventure getting ready to be published, which I believe, tell me if this is right, you ran this at your last event.
Yes.
This adventure, and now you are published?
I'm on the way to get there, yeah. So I've been through a friend of a friend, I got hooked up with some editors and layout folks at this independent publisher called Space Penguin Inc. Everyone should go there and check them out. They're great. They make these little modules for a lot of great indie games, stuff like Troika and Morkborg, and games that aren't as big as Dungeons and Dragons, but are still a lot of fun. And I got the opportunity to write a adventure for Dungeons and Dragons. This is the Cobra Express, the same adventure that I ran the last time I was at the City Winery. And they are putting it together into a little adventure booklet that they are going to be shipping and selling, I believe, here in a couple months. I think the art's all done. All my work's been done for a long time. I just gave them a manuscript and, they're off and running with it. But yeah, I'm very excited. This is the first time I've ever been published. It's literally a lifelong dream of mine ever since I was a kid to, have my name on the cover of a book, and by Jove, there it is. So
congrats.
Yeah, very excited.
Congrats, man.
All little nerds out there here in a little bit can pick up an adventure written by me. It's compatible with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It's also compatible with DCC RPG for any hardcore gamers out there that know what that is. That's old school,
good
traditional role playing. And then they're doing this cool thing where the map and miniatures for this adventure are going to be included in the booklet as like little paper minis that you can like punch out, and so it's a whole adventure even with the gear all in one little booklet. So very excited.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So you can play with I understand you can play with it on those multiple versions, and then like can you also just like enjoy, like could I just get this to have on the shelf here in the studio? Is it something that you like?
If you're asking me to get you a copy, of course I will. I'll even sign it for you. No worries.
I guess I was. I guess damn, I didn't hide that very well.
So
either.
so yeah, written adventures are interesting. You could read through it and get the benefit of the story, but it's not like a novel. It's not like prose. There's a lot of graphs and tables. This is an adventure that lets a dungeon master run it for their table. So it tells you what the environment is. It has maps of the different rooms and lists of all the characters in it and their abilities and stats and all the events that occur and stuff. So
very nice. Well, congratulations. A
Thank
lot of
you
years
very
of
much.
work. I mean, years of work and years of passion that lead to that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else in D&D world, in the news world? Anything else?
I can't think of any D&D like news.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think they're releasing like a 50-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Like Gary Gygax special. Like,
yeah, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary on D&D, and so Wizards of the Coast is trying to put out a lot of like interesting like merch and cool toys and sculptures and stuff like that. So if you're into buying swag, which I am, I actually have been seriously beating up my bank account this past little bit, just buying up new terrain and maps. I'm gotten into Warlock tiles. You familiar with these?
No.
It's like snap together,
Oh,
like
the
plastic
snap
terrain.
together. Oh yeah,
So
that's
good.
like the creme de la creme.
Yeah. Anyway, this is Inside Baseball. What else are we
That's
talking
good.
about?
Don't look at us like that. This is why don't ever apologize for being nerdy in this podcast.
Yeah,
too,
Understood.
All right?
Especially
Understood.
for me, I'm trying to learn from bottom to top here.
Yes.
I,
and it's a payoff for the fans too, because if you're a D&D fan that you're listening, you're getting kind of like your update on some things that are going on, or you're like me and Andy and you're just learning. So you guys feel free to nerd out. Speaking of which, when we met you, Sam, you were really getting started on this journey of doing your live Dungeon Master services. You're at samthedm.com and doing these services for weddings or birthday parties, getting booked to do the work is inevitably what led to your live shows. So like there's definitely a correlation here of these two things going on. Can you give us an update on samthedm.com and getting booked?
It's been a very good year. Last year I had the opportunity to do 2 of these live shows where I just run a game for a group of comedian players that an audience gets to watch, and so it's a way to access Dungeons and Dragons without having to like roll up a character or know what the hell's going on. You just sit in the audience and watch some performers have a fun time acting like dumb elves and stuff. And yeah, I got to do one at the art museum, one at the City Winery, and they've been going well enough that I've been invited back, which has been great. And as far as like the off time, working on getting published, doing some writing, working on my podcast, Challenge Rating 0, which is nearing the end of its first season. So I'll be wrapping up a campaign that I've been working on for like 5 years, which is very rewarding and good because I'm fucking exhausted, and it's can't wait for that to be done. And yeah, I've been trying to mostly just focus on making connections with local business owners and stuff. Did you all know that there is a Dungeons and Dragons bar that is opening up in Baldwin?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
I
You're
drive
aware
by
of
it
this.
almost
Yeah.
every day.
Scotty texted
waiting,
me about that today.
Waiting for it to open.
Yeah, so they reached
What's the name of it again?
Dirty 20.
All right.
When you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you roll a 20-sided dice in order to see if you can do things or not. If you roll that dice and your bonuses equal 20, you call it a dirty 20.
Yeah. Not a natural.
Not a natural 20. But yeah, their people reached out to me, so I might be doing some stuff with them, some events here in the future once they get all opened up. But yeah.
Very
Just
nice.
I got a lot of irons and a lot of fires. I'm just trying to hustle out here.
Yeah, I get it, and you're doing a lot yourself. I know you mentioned you got some people, different parts of your business, whether it be the podcast or other parts. You have some help. You got good team. You got good support. But I mean, for the most part, I'm sure you're just managing a lot of those communications. At the end of the day, every communication with everybody around town or otherwise has to go through you. But they can reach you at samthedm.com.
Absolutely, yeah. Anybody that I'm still available for hire for private events. If you and your group want to, your group of friends or your family want to try out Dungeons and Dragons and you don't know where to get started, you can absolutely reach out to me, hire me. I show up with everything you need to play, run you through everything, pre-filled character sheets, and I know all the rules so you don't have to. And yeah, I've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years at this point, and yeah, I'm a very old hand. I started running games for young kids at a comic book store like every other Sunday, and there's nothing that'll prepare you for literally anything than running games for young children. They are violent psychopaths, every one of them. But yeah.
Probably great reviews from parents, though. You're just you're killing it. Like,
yeah,
like everybody's having a good time.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got some testimonials on my website, and that's been the pleasantly surprising thing from my perspective. Is as basically a small business owner, I am packing up all my gear and driving to a stranger's house that emailed me to book me for a gig, and everyone's very nice and everyone's very pleasant and polite and respectful of my time, like I'm respectful of theirs, and it's been overall an incredibly positive experience being able to engage with my community and my city in this very unique way with Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Dude, that's what we're all about, man. That's there's a reason you're on this podcast for the second time. I'm telling you, we need to make that a third and fourth time. All right, with that, we're getting nerdy here, so I might as well keep on going down the nerdy train here. I must be thinking of trains with Cobra Express. Let's do the next segment. Whatchu Sharin? What do you think about that? That's a brand new one.
Oh my god.
That was a brand new one. That's really good.
You finally updated it.
I updated. I told you I would.
I love how long it is.
I
and
know.
How little payoff it has.
I know. Whatchu Sharin? All right, let's get into the recommendations. I know a lot of you guys, we've heard you come to the podcast for this segment right here, and we know it's like where you find out what to read, what to watch, and we're deep down in the comics lately. It's going to be that way again. Mr. Giggler, let's hear from you, sir. Tell us about Batman Knightfall Volume 1.
Yes, what you reading today? This is a rarity for me. I don't do a lot of reading myself.
Andy goes to all the movie premieres, so it's usually
more of a movie guy, but this is a Martin from Apotheosis recommendation. Shout out to our last episode. Had a great time there recording, and honestly spent most of the time kind of like I do when I'm down in our studio here, is just looking at the walls, just enamored with everything that's just decorating this ridiculous place. It's amazing.
Even when we're recording, especially when we're recording.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Andy, Pay attention.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Martin recommended this last time I was in. Batman Knightfall Volume 1. I was unaware till Scotty showed me the other one that there's a Volume 3, so I'm in for like about 1,800 pages that I thought I was nearly done.
Yeah, that's
that is
very
not
long.
a short ride.
That was a
It's not
funny text
short
thread
ride.
day. Andy was like, "Oh, okay."
But I can't put it down. So Martin, you killed it there. If you're listening, I'll be back to get a Volume 2 soon enough. But I mean, basically, the cover is Bane breaking Batman's back. There's so much more to the story. The rise of Bane. It's a little bit more different than we see in the movies. That's where I kind of get my backstory for all this. So I'm loving seeing this. I mean, just seeing everything on the pages. Honestly, it's to the point where even like the smell of the comic book is like appealing to me. So I'm like,
Oh boy,
God
You're-
damn it! Look,
you're-
what did I
You're
do?
getting sucked in.
What
Andy.
did I do?
Is
So-
he talking the language now?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, it's a
he's
whole.
hooked.
It's an aesthetic. It's
Yeah.
like cottagecore. You know, it's not. You're not just reading the book. You're living the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be showing up at Scott's house soon enough. Just
Hey, anytime, man.
give me
It's well,
You got any more of them comic books?
Are you liking Knightfall? Are you
Oh, yeah.
enjoying it?
I love it. It's
how far are you?
I'm about 500 pages into like 600 out of the first.
Oh, you're
volume,
almost there.
So yeah,
Has
Yeah.
the deed happened yet?
yes, it has
Okay.
happened, and we have a little bit of Asriel now. There's a lot of Scarecrow
Asriel.
going on right now, so I kind of just got some vibes of Batman Begins. Little callbacks there, so
Oh, for sure.
I love it. I love it.
Sam, the DM, talk about Asriel for us a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was bitching about this before we started recording. Asriel is a character that pops up in Knightfall because old Bruce Wayne gets his spine snapped by a very, very large man. And there's no Batman in Gotham, and so while his sidekicks are running around trying to keep a lid on things, some asshole named Asriel shows up and is like, "I'm Batman now," and he like gets in the Batcave, and he's so whack, just top to bottom. I personally, there's fans for every character. If you like Asriel, great job, and I'm sorry, but I personally don't care for him because it's like he's designed by a studio to sell action figures. Like, his costume is half cybernetic and half skin suit, and he's got 13 different outfits, and he's not as good as Batman, but he thinks he is, and he keeps getting his ass kicked. And it's like, I have to try harder, and he's an artifact of the 90s that just won't die. He's a very frustrating member of the Bat canon for me personally, but he's all over Knightfall.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How are you feeling about Asriel as you're reading his stuff? How does he strike you?
I'm just thinking, when's it gonna I don't know a lot about the character, so I'm like, is he gonna end up being like is he gonna die as well? Is he gonna become
Already
bad?
hoping.
I don't even know.
Is he bad?
Are
I
they
don't
gonna
know.
kill this guy?
I'm
or-
extremely honestly, basically the premise is like Bane breaks all the villains out of Arkham, and it's just Batman just to wear Batman down, and the story is awesome. Just every comic, I'm like, every night I'm like, I'll read a couple of these. Ends up being 3 or 4, and then it's 100 pages. So
Wow, really doing it.
That's awesome. Bane's one of those characters that is really easy to misunderstand because he's a big, strong guy. And anytime you read comic books, they visually code it so a big, strong guy's dumb, right? The Hulk, the Thing, even to some extent, he's like a fucking Joe Schmo blue-collar guy. But Bane is built up as this, like, psychopathic criminal mastermind that was, like, forged in a prison from his earliest, he's this, like, emotionally and psychologically complex character. But if you watch the Batman movie, which one was it with Poison Ivy? Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Was that Batman and Robin?
Yep,
Batman
that's
and
right.
Robin, yeah.
If you watch Batman and Robin, Bane's entire character is
Yeah,
and
he's
then
more
he-
like Solomon Grundy.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, Bane, go hit that thing. He's just
Yeah.
like,
Good
"Grr,"
call.
as opposed to this like articulate, like interesting character. So like
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises way closer. The people
sure.
people
Tom Hardy.
shit on the voice, but way closer to the intention of of Bane
I can feel it.
as a character for sure.
Batman.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
somebody
nice.
had to try. Anybody else?
Do you feel in charge?
You think darkness is your ally?
You adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Very good. Good job, everybody. All 4.
You
4
have
out of 4.
to. You have to. It's important. But yeah, Knightfall's a great read.
classic.
Speaking of comics and reading and DC, it's all here. I believe Asriel might be on the back
Yeah,
of this
he's right
one.
there.
DC Marvel crossover classics. I am renting from the comic book store that is in Scotty Scoop's basement. He brought these over for me. We did bring up the DC Marvel Omnibus, which is coming out. We talked about that with Martin at Apotheosis, and that got me really thinking about these crossovers and how much I'm into that. And especially, specifically, I wanted to see Superman and the Silver Surfer. Like, I bet these guys have some epic adventures, and you brought me a couple books. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. Yeah, DC Marvel crossover classics. And if you're looking at the camera, I guess this is Asriel right there.
There
Yeah,
he
the
is
one
back
that
there.
looks like a discount Batman.
Yeah, and he is teaming up with the Punisher, I believe, in that
and
that
Bucky.
story.
Wow.
Why is Punisher on the back with the teenagers? I don't like that
Yeah,
at
you
all.
got
It's Punisher, Bucky, and Robin.
and
right?
and Asriel and Superman's feet. Don't
Yeah.
forget about Superman's feet. And then you got like Green Lantern teaming up with Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four. I see Batman on here, the Silver Surfer. I mean, this is epic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's fun. It's to see the universes collide like that.
And I think I'm gonna have to get that omnibus. Just get them
Oh
all.
yeah.
All right, Scotty Scoop. Why don't we do you? We'll leave Sam the DM last. He's had plenty of examples, so we'll see what you come up with. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Scotty.
So I've been watching Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix. Anybody?
Got nothing on that.
Okay, so the basic premise here
You're the dungeon
is-
master.
It sounds and I don't want to get blue. It sounds like a porno. And if that's what we get down here on Mostly Superheroes, like I guess that's good to know. for
Nothing's
next
off the
time.
table. It
Let's
hasn't
go.
happened yet. What do you got, Scotty?
So dungeon crawling is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You go down there, you waste a lot of money on food. You're down there for weeks. You get to the end boss, and what happens? You're hungry.
Sure.
You're hungry, you lose. And you get back to the beginning. So what do? You're spending all this gold on food just for it to spoil halfway down the dungeon and for you to starve and have to leave. What do? You eat the monsters you kill.
Interesting.
So this adventuring party, this like, okay, we're going to go out of the box here. And, that orc we just killed, I think we can find a way to cook it.
Okay.
Every episode.
This is a show?
Yeah, this is a show, cartoon.
Cartoon show.
Yes.
And where are you watching it?
It's on Netflix.
And say the
I
name
need
again.
I need
Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon. Now, is this like
All
some
right.
sort of niche anime? Like we're talking?
It's an anime.
Of course it is.
For sure.
Okay, now it all makes perfect sense. Yeah, no more questions.
But we've got.
you sent some pictures.
Yeah, I sent
Delicious.
a photo.
Is
Just
it what's that? What's that like cooking?
Here it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
The
It's
animation.
anime.
The animation is fantastic.
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, the character voice is great. I mean, it's really exciting, action packed.
One season?
It's funny. We're about 10 episodes, 12 episodes into what is supposed to be, I do believe, a 24 episode season, and these are dropping weekly on Netflix.
Dude, okay. I am obviously right up your alley. This looks fresh. Who makes it? Is this
This is a Netflix joint,
just a Netflix thing?
and it's based off a manga. So
Okay.
This is so much brighter. This is so much less dark than when you
Yes.
first described it. I have like whiplash because I didn't know what you were getting into. But yeah, and
your little mushroom guy down
Yeah, it
there.
looks
He's a
like
monster, but we're eating him.
it looks like an adorable dungeon delving anime with like a culinary twist, and that looks delightful.
Yes.
Thank you. That was great. That was beautiful.
They're not they're not
I've been having trouble to get I'm like, okay, big red dragon, cool guy in a night suit,
Yeah.
holding up a bouquet. You got a kid that's spilling his food and tripping over all the plates, and he's kind of like the servant boy, and he's mad about it.
Yeah,
He's
we got
been doing it too long.
We got a wizard with oven mitts. That's adorable. There's
That's
sausage
correct.
links everywhere.
We
Yeah.
got our rogue halfling down there.
You definitely got some characters in the background that they're just like tucking in the sky. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on with this guy jumping across?
Oh,
the...
these motherfuckers are definitely season 2 villains. You know it.
Oh yeah.
Just a tease.
No wasted space. No wasted space in an anime intro. Yeah, it sounds fascinating.
What's
I've
the
never heard
rating?
anything like that.
Right now I'm gonna sit around probably 3.4.
Excellent.
I'm having a real good time.
Excellent.
Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon
So crazy.
on Netflix.
What's that? There's that like really popular cooking anime. That is, I can't fucking remember
Yeah, I know what you're talking
the
about.
name of it, and I'm gonna get lampooned for this.
I can help you with the internet.
I think
machine.
one of my kids watches
It's
it.
cheating. There's this incredibly popular anime show that's just about cooking, and in classic anime fashion, they inject so much drama and emotional pathos, and like I have to get this.
Is it Cinderella Chef? Bonjour, Sweet Love.
Food Wars.
Food Wars,
is what I'm
that's
thinking
it.
of,
First of
yeah.
all, there are so many.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't think of
When
that
there's a
one.
top 10 list,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, Food Wars is this crazy thing where they choreograph like cooking montages with the same level of intensity as like a fight scene in Dragon Ball Z, like chopping up the garlic and all that shit. Like it's a whole thing. Everyone's got signature dishes, and it's like it's battling with recipes, and so that's what that Delicious in Dungeon reminded me of. It seems like that smashed with Dungeons and Dragons.
Have you seen Food Wars?
I've dabbled in it. It's not exactly my lane.
What is your lane? What do you got for us today? What would you recommend lately?
Well, I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction. It's within the theme of this podcast. Have you guys played Marvel's Midnight Suns?
We have, and we've talked about it on this podcast one time.
Okay. Well, then
it's like on an iPhone. We did like an iPhone game version.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, because I played it on my Xbox Series X. Yes, I am rich. Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations on
Man,
that.
I just have an S.
Discs in it, so you know I'm better.
Okay, so Midnight Suns is an Xbox game.
It's on everything, I think.
Yeah,
it's across the
it's
board.
on everything.
Cross-platform.
This is what I've been playing a shit ton lately. So it's like a strategy combat game, and the core framework is around like cards. So you as the player have a squad of 3 superheroes, and it'll be like Blade and Scarlet Witch and Iron Man, and each of those superheroes have abilities which are reflected in cards, and you have like a certain number of cards you can play a turn, and you're just subjected to waves and waves of enemies as you like battle through them, and you have to achieve certain objectives and stuff. And they weave this really intricate story over all of it, involving like the supernatural and different planes of existence, like famous Marvel villains like Mephisto and shit. And you also have like this hub world where you just get to like hang out with like Captain America and Blade and shit, and like it gets a little bit like a visual novel or a dating sim, because you can like arrange hangouts with like the Scarlet Witch and get your friendship meter up, and there's just a million different little things and toggles and tabs and shit to like move up in this game, that the gameplay cycle is like crack to me. I really like really crunchy like tactical rules and stuff. That's why I'm a dungeon master, and so this game just really dominated every waking moment of my life for like the past month, I'd say.
Nice.
Just been going through it. I beat it the other day. I've been thinking about it an awful lot. It's a lot of fun. The storyline stuff's a little the graphics aren't super great in the cutscenes and stuff, but when you're actually playing it, they put all the superheroes on the board and all these bad guys, and they animate all of these cards and powers like really dynamically with these swooping animations and awesome camera angles and stuff. So it feels like an action game while you're just like playing cards and shit. Couldn't recommend it more. If you're a Marvel nerd, like they got a bunch of great like A-list and then like B and C-list heroes in there. They got like the new Ghost Rider and like Magic from the X-Men and shit. But yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Marvel Midnight Suns.
Marvel Midnight Suns. You had me when you said I could schedule a party with Blade and Captain America.
Yeah, no, it's wild. There's like it's crazy because you get to make your own character, which is also something that I love. Yeah, so there's like a role playing aspect to it. You make your own character that's injected into the Marvel universe.
You were made for this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so you have this like special role in beating the final boss and blah blah blah. But the thing is you're in this house, this hub world, with all of these Marvel characters that you can take on missions with you. And it's like, yeah, Wolverine's over there and Captain Marvel's over there. And it's like, hey, Blade wants you to join book club. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? And you can get a book club t-shirt to wear around the house and like crazy shit.
That is like Marvel Sims.
So wild. Yeah, it's crazy. There's friendship meters for all the different heroes and stuff. You got to check it out. It's an endless amount of shit.
Who's your best friend in the game?
Blade, of course.
Oh, yeah.
No
That's
one
awesome.
no one else but Blade. when I saw
You like being a sidekick.
Yeah, for sure. When I saw the Blade with the Wesley Snipes movie in like, I don't know, 99 or 2000, that is a movie about a kickboxing black vampire that uses swords. That movie was made for 13-year-old Sam. Like that. Goddamn.
Yeah, we have a whole page
we
on our
are
website.
very
No, I
familiar
know.
with
Yeah,
Blade.
for sure.
Dude,
for sure.
we've done the trilogy. 98 for the first one. I think 2000, like
Mhm.
2 for the second one. 2004 for the third one, I
Yeah.
think.
Did y'all touch on the DVD thing?
And the DVD, yes, the fourth movie.
No. I was
Tell
going to
us.
say an interesting thing about the first Blade flick is that was the first major motion picture, I believe, to explode the like at-home DVD market.
Oh,
So
I see.
Blade was one of the first like blockbuster flicks that like really they just printed so many fucking Blade DVDs. They were just everywhere.
It makes sense
Yeah.
because it's one of these movies that I can remember like on my street growing up, like my neighbor like had it on their TV
Mhm.
and like it was just on a lot. I remember in the back, people were watching it, you
It's
know.
a great
My-
great flick.
No, on Amazon I found an $8 4-pack DVD and it had these 3 movies plus a 4th movie that like was apparently made that Scott
that
knew.
that was probably the TV show
You got to go back to
on
the
Spike TV.
maybe you've already
there
already
was a
covered
Blade
it.
TV show.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
of course it wasn't
How did
Wesley
I not-
Snipes.
How
They
did
brought
I not
in
know this.
They brought in a guy, and his name was Sticky Fingers.
Right.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
We did this in the '98 episode. Our
Okay.
diehard fans are like, "You guys talked about this in the first Blade review." I
Okay.
wish I had the DVD handy, but go back to that. Oh my God. Yes.
Nice. Let me look at this. Yeah.
Sticky
Forgive me for
fingers.
trotting over.
Yeah. And no, it's okay.
to-
Anytime we can get back to Blade, because we're really, honestly, so hyped about the new Blade movie that's been delayed and delayed and delayed
Yeah,
and delayed.
I
So
think
any
2019 they announced that movie,
And it's- oh,
it's
God.
still
That's-
not here.
That's why we started these rewatches because
Just
of
to
that movie.
get
and
ready.
Now it's
Yeah.
still not even. It's just now starting to film or close.
we
That's-
started 2 years ago.
I don't know that they're done rewriting
Give
it
us
because they fired the writer.
It's called
Correct.
like the Legend of Thawne or Sean or something. Or
The Legend of Cthon. That's
Yes.
that's some Cthulhu shit. He must have been fighting some like
Ancient
elder
god.
yeah. There's no House of Cthon is not only not rated on the back of this DVD, there's no fucking information about its production whatsoever on the back of this DVD.
and it was
stops with
$8.
Blade Trinity.
It was $8 too.
I have to. Okay.
I think it was originally on Spike TV.
Now I got to try to fucking watch this crazy
I'll loan it to you.
off-brand.
You can borrow this.
What? Break the packaging? Are you
No,
sure?
yes, you
I don't
can.
want to destroy
Please.
a collector's item.
We
Okay.
offered it to a fan. They never entered.
All right. Well, yeah.
Why?
I
No
know.
one
It was
entered.
every Blade movie.
So have you guys watched House of Cthon?
No.
No one's
no.
seen this?
No.
All right, I got to come back and give you a review of it.
Well,
then.
maybe you should watch it. We should like pass it around, and we could like really review this movie
For sure.
I'm
God,
gonna
We
have
gotta. It's not a trilogy
it's a
anymore.
feature
Yeah,
episode.
right.
God, I have to see
The
how
name of the
fucking bad
webpage on
this
Mostly
is.
Superheroes is Blade Trilogy. We're going to change it
Gotta
now.
change it.
Yeah.
Update it. Quadrilogy.
I'm down for quadrilogy.
All right. With that, this is
Well,
where
thank you.
this is where we take a break for sure. So stick around. When we come back, it's going to be all Dungeons and Dragons, Sam's event, more about the Cobra Express, and what you can expect at the City Winery. And D&D fans, get ready. We're going to nerd out. Stick around. We'll be right back. It doesn't say anything.
The meat.
Introducing Steve's Meltdown, now available at the City Foundry, St. Louis. Brought to you by the team behind Steve's Hot Dogs and the Fountain on Locust. Two concepts that know how to do comfort food right. This is your new go-to spot for elevated grilled cheese sandwiches. Every sandwich is made with fresh-baked bread, high-quality cheeses, and flavor combinations that'll melt your heart. Steve's Meltdown menu is epic. Plus, they are a great spot for kid-friendly fare and vegan options for folks visiting City Foundry. Featuring menu items like Sweet Caroline, Forever Young Adult, War Figs, That's Amore, and Sweet Dreams Are Made of Cheese. You can't miss them when you visit City Foundry. Bright red with bright yellow melting cheese pouring down the front of their store. Join Steve's Meltdown at their brand new location at the City Foundry, or order for delivery at www.stevesmeltdown.com. Find them at 3037 Foundry Way in St. Louis, and be sure to tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you. Visit Steve's Meltdown online at www.stevesmeltdown.com to explore the full menu and place your order. You can also find Steve's Meltdown on DoorDash, Uber Eats, or your favorite food delivery app. Whether you're craving comfort or culinary creativity, Steve's Meltdown delivers. Whether you're visiting or live here in town, Fortuna Games is your go-to spot for tabletop gaming in St. Louis. Located at 2632 South Kings Highway Boulevard, right across from Tower Grove Park, Fortuna Games offers Magic, Pokemon, Lorcana, board games, supplies, and more. Open Wednesday through Saturday. Visit online at fortunagames.net or find them on Facebook and Instagram. You can also call 413-367-8862 or email fortuna@fortunagames.net. And remember, tell them Mostly Superheroes sent you. If you listen to the podcast, you know that before and after the show, when we're hungry or craving some beers or some live music, we usually end up at the Gramophone in the Grove here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's our spot for the best sandwiches in St. Louis, like the epic classic The Jive, stacked with roasted turkey, thick-cut bacon, Swiss, lettuce, tomato, avocado spread, and pepper mayo on a toasted baguette. Don't skip the sides. Nothing beats Big Willie's homemade mac and cheese. It's the sidekick that never, ever lets you down. Plus, with daily specials, there's always something new to celebrate. So come join us at 4243 Manchester Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110 at the Gramophone and tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you. Visit www.gramophoneSTL.com for their full menu and more. The Gramophone, where heroes hang out. There's something weirdly wonderful all year long at City Museum, St. Louis. Find a bus on the roof and more than 30 slides nestled in an old shoe warehouse. Whether you're a kid or channeling your inner kid or your inner Spider-Man, break out the knee pads and the headlamps and get lost in the ultimate artist-built playground. For a limited time, the City Museum features exhibits like the Science of Guinness World Records. See it before it's gone. With so many events all year long like City Nights, summer celebrations, Fright at the Museum, and weirdly wonderful holidays. It's all too weird and too wonderful to be anywhere else other than the City Museum. Get the best deal right now and become a member. Upgrade to Gold Member Pass, which includes unlimited visits all year long, rooftop access, and a free ticket for a friend. Don't miss out and visit the City Museum, located in downtown St. Louis. And remember to tell them that Mostly Superheroes sent you. Learn more at www.citymuseum.org. We know that if you're tuning into this podcast, you like listening to stories. Audible has you covered. Audible is the ultimate destination for audiobook lovers. Whether you're a fan of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series or the MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, they have everything you could find and more. Start your free 30-day trial today. You'll get 1 credit, 2 if you're a Prime member, which you can use to choose any premium selection title. You'll also receive access to the Audible Plus catalog with podcasts, audiobooks, and Audible originals, and shows like Mostly Superheroes. You'll even get a friendly reminder before your 30-day trial ends. Visit audibletrial.com/mostly or visit mostlysuperheroes.com and find our Audible page. Subscribe to Audible today and start listening to your story. The meat. Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes, here for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you're here. It's why we're here to nerd out with you about some D&D, some Dungeons and Dragons, here with the giggler, Scotty Scoop. I'm your host, Logan, and Sam, the Dungeon Master. Sam, the DM. You can find him at samthedm.com, your Dungeons and Master expert, hosting now his second show coming up at the City Winery, St. Louis. Bubbles and Bards, live Dungeons and Dragons brunch, April 7th. You're going to be there. We're so excited. Scotty Scoop's going to be there with his daughter, Lila. We're going to maybe send some other folks. Sam, tell us about the event, man. Let's get right into it. Tell us about maybe, your road from the last one to this one and like how, some lessons learned or last time we did some cool teases of things without spoiling what was going to happen. So I want to talk about the doors open. This is April 7th. This is a Sunday. Starting around noon?
Doors are at 11. It starts at noon. Yeah.
Very nice. And last time you ran the Cobra Express as your main adventure.
Yes.
Is that going to be the same? Or are you doing something different?
No, so the great thing about this game, and part of the challenge of it, is that every time you are going to run an adventure, you want to run a different adventure. If you're doing a long form campaign with a set group of people that are going to come to your, house every week or every other week, then every time you sit down, you tell a different story or you tell a new episode of the same story going forward. With these live shows that I'm doing, we might get an audience of completely different people than the last time, but either way, I want to make sure I have an entirely new narrative. So this is going to be a brand new adventure. It's called the Tower of Terror. And the fun thing about this adventure is that I can't spoil really any of it because a lot of it, huge chunks of it, are going to be dictated by the audience. So I've worked out something here where we're going to select some volunteers from the crowd, and they'll be able to roll dice to determine the villain of this campaign, this little one shot. They're going to roll dice to determine what kind of monsters we fight in this one shot, and they're going to roll dice to determine what the MacGuffin is, what the sacred special object, the prize at the end of the adventure. So I'm leaving all of that up to the audience. I'm not going to know beforehand when we sit down what they're going to fight or what they're fighting for until the audience gets the opportunity to set that out for me. So now I get to kind of walk the tightrope and exercise my improv skills and kind of build the bridge as we're going across it, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Kudos on that design.
Yeah.
And it not only just keeps your improv skills sharp, but makes it fun for you too, to where you don't know what's around the corner, so that everybody's gonna be able to feel that.
For think
sure.
on your feet.
Yeah. And I want the audience to have a sense of ownership over the experience. D&D is a collaborative effort. It's a group communal storytelling game. And while I would like to think that I'm, eloquent enough and my players are funny enough that we can entertain an audience of passive observers, I'd like to promote that sort of interaction with the audience and have them, get a hand on the steering wheel. Help guide the experience.
Well, I feel like we're mixing in like kind of a review, kind of like it's hilarious to think back. Like Scott, you and Shanna got to go to the last one.
Yeah.
How was your experience? You gave us a review without Sam here, and now the pressure's really on. He's sitting right next to you.
I was just gonna say, remember that I'm sitting right here and I'm very sensitive.
So it was great. Had a real good time.
Only looking at me.
It wasn't amazing. Oh God.
Well, we've already done the review. It can be more about.
Fantastic.
No,
I want. It's
the
more about
review.
questions. What questions do you
The
have
food,
for Sam now?
the food was great.
Oh yeah.
Paint the
Um,
picture
It's
for people
incredible.
that didn't get to make it, that are thinking about going this
Okay,
time.
so you walk in.
Yeah.
The room was full. It was full.
We were
There
very
was-
lucky.
Yeah, it was very full.
Hell yeah.
You got your brunch spread. You go up. It's buffet style. You get what you want. They had like waffles and bacon and eggs,
Mm.
Yeah, the food up
Like
there is no joke. We
breakfast
got to,
potatoes.
got to eat some stuff in the green room beforehand.
Yeah.
It was very tasty.
The guys are up on stage, the crew, and he's very interactive with the audience. Everybody's chipping in, helping out with the rolls. There was some fails with that people had to help out with.
What's a fail? Like,
So over the course of the adventure, I put some little tokens out in the audience, and when our heroes try to accomplish something that there's a chance they'll fail, like attack somebody with a weapon or try to, outrun a bad guy, they have to roll a dice. Sometimes they roll bad because that's the nature of the game. It's all up to chance. And the audience has the opportunity to, cash in one of these little tokens to let them re-roll. And so, yeah, that's another way we kind of keep the audience engaged and interacting with the narrative there.
nice.
It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours we ran for.
Yeah, I'd say about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Engaged the whole time. It was funny, lots of laughs. Of course, these the characters that were up there, very funny. They know what they're doing.
Why don't you plug the folks that are joining you?
Absolutely. So I'll be joined on stage, like I have all of my previous live shows, by some very talented and hilarious local comedians and improvisers. Connor Branson, Elena Huthsing, and Tree Sanchez. They've done stand-up around town. They've done work at the improv shop here in St. Louis. And they definitely know what they're about. They're hilarious people. And they love Dungeons and Dragons almost as much as I do. And they're great. And because we, this isn't we never forget for a second that this is live theater. And so, yeah, we keep it tight. The story's moving forward. We're not, sitting there, trying to like build up individual backstories and make a soap opera out of it. There's driving action. There's, laughs. There's dice rolls and, the occasional dick joke. But yeah, I think if you've never played D&D before, this is a great way to get a taste of what it's like. And if you're a huge D&D nerd, just come see how we do it,
Yeah, I think that's what it gets down to, right? Like, because like all of us, especially the deep nerds, like we're all producers in a lot of ways, So we're just like I get caught up in the, you up on stage, how you're organizing it. But Scott's a diehard D&D fan. This is for non D&D fans also. You're coming to a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're coming to a show, like you said, you're not waiting around for anything. You're gonna come and experience stuff, and the interaction part, like how much of that is in my hands as the audience member, and how much is kind of like pure chance where like I'm getting pulled in.
Well, that is something that's mostly pure chance. It's mostly me like picking people out in the crowd. What I do is I put little tokens on people's tables. So like not everyone's tables could have one of these little tokens, but if you find one at your table and someone, messes up a dice roll, you can flash that, at the stage and they'll get to re-roll it. And as for these like big dice rolls where we decide like what the monsters are and the villain and the reward, that kind of stuff, I'll pick people from the crowd. So yeah, there's a chance that anyone coming will get to roll a dice or throw up a token and shift the course of the narrative accordingly. So yeah, there's a chance anyone that comes out will be involved.
All right, and then let's just for the very big introverts that are like teetering and they're like, maybe I'll go. What if they opt out? What if they're like,
oh yeah, no
me.
one has to do shit. Let me say first off
that might be someone's fear,
No, absolutely. I am what I like to call an introvert with good social skills, and I get very tired and scared all the time of being around people. My individual brain chemistry works that I'm far more comfortable on a stage in front of a room full of strangers than, I don't know, talking to a rando on the bus. That's just how it works out for me. But yeah, I would never in a million years force anyone to do anything that makes them uncomfortable. So yeah, that's absolutely not a barrier for entry whatsoever.
And then on the other side of the spectrum, like someone like me, like I just want to be involved. I want to be like, all right, let's go. Like give me a role. I don't know anything about this. Like this is for that person too. It's sure. It's for the D&D fan. And then Andy, I want to start looking at you, man. This is the first time you got to meet Sam in person, and you're going to be that audience member now that has really no D&D experience. You had some questions for Sam.
Oh, I do.
Well, let's mix them in right now because we'll come back to the event. We're so excited to keep talking about it, and we'll end with that. But what do you got?
All right. I need first questions for Halfbeard over here. I need you to remind me of your full name because
my name is Canum Halfbeard.
Thank you.
It's a great fucking name.
It pertains to my question.
Dwarf Barbarian.
Yeah, it's such a great name.
That
in
is
the Stonehill Mountains.
Keep going. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah,
I'm just
let it out.
Sing the song of Halfbeard.
I was kidnapped as a child by
of course you were.
a band of orcs. They killed my parents.
Yep.
And my face was horribly scarred on one side, so I only grow a beard on one side. I was taken in by a tribe of barbarians called the Crows.
Interesting.
And they have all since died off because, they're just regular people. I'm a dwarf. I lived for a couple
You were
hundred
taken
years.
in by human barbarians and you aged out of your entire tribe.
That's right.
Oh, God.
I'm the last of the Crows.
That's lovely. That's a really good backstory.
So
that's the kind of shit. Do you do any like fiction writing in your spare time? Do you are you a writer?
Only in my brain.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Anyone that plays this game, you get like, oh, you could be like a dwarf or you could be like a barbarian. That'd be an interesting character to make. And then you have to build up the entire life history of this protagonist of a fantasy narrative that you get to control. And this kind of genius shit just comes out of people.
I think you'd probably agree. There is nothing like creating characters.
It's the best part of the fucking game.
Yes.
You feel
I could just sit down and
like,
make characters all day long.
Just make whole people with their whole backstory. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if like, they lost that finger in that card game when they were 6 and that's why they have that +1 to blah.
I did a one shot just like a month ago,
which is a standalone one session.
Yeah, like what's going on here.
Listen to our previous episode with Sam the Dungeon Master on Mostly Superheroes.
I made this character that I absolutely fell in love with, and then was instantly sad because the one shot was over, and I'll never see him again.
Yep.
He was a plasmoid monk.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, my
That's-
creative brain
name-
runs wild with these
That's some
stories,
advanced.
characters.
That's some advanced level shit, dude.
And his name was
So
Juice.
you have
Of
full
course.
creative control over yourself, including your name. Yes.
What's
you,
that?
You have full creative control over yourself.
Of course.
including
I mean,
your
you
name.
need to, if
To-
you're
to a
going
point.
outside of the box, you need to consult with your dungeon master to see what is allowed and what is not allowed.
Got it.
Yeah, that's all part of like the social contract of getting a game together. When you are making a character for a D&D game, you do have an incredible amount of freedom, far more than you'd have in like a console like role-playing game, right? If your character has one eye and pink hair, they just do because you want it. That's fine. But if you want to do certain crazy things, like you always want to make sure you check with your dungeon master, who's running the game, before you finalize any details, because that some of that comes down to taste, some of it comes to whether it fits in the setting. If your dungeon master is like, I made a really dark urban steampunk setting and I want you to make characters for it, and you make like a drunken satyr, that's not gonna mesh too terribly well,
Okay.
So yeah, you do have, in theory, unlimited flexibility, but you always want to check with your DM first.
Other notes: be nice to your DM. Got it. Check. All right.
Very good. These are great. Keep it going. You're generating the good questions here.
What's the Dungeons and Dragon equivalent of like I'm a huge sports fan, so like what's the Tom Brady fourth quarter comeback that happens in Dungeons and Dragons? Is that a thing?
Did
or-
you listen to the entire episode with Sam the first time?
I did.
Well, did you remember them saying that I'll quote Scott, it's not a game.
Not a game. I'm sorry.
No.
And
It's
and
not-
that it's not about
You're
winning.
not,
See,
it's not
it's
something
not a
you're
comp-
going to win.
it's not a
It's about
competition.
living.
Okay, so your question again was
Okay.
So I will
Is
I will answer that because that's a great fucking question. Those kind of moments can happen all the time at any table at any point. So being at death's door and being able to look over your character sheet and see what spells, what special abilities you have, how far are you away from the bad guy? Is there back towards that window? Could I maybe roll this dice and get this outcome? That shit happens all of the time. I had a party, let me see. I ran a game once. My players are at the top of a tower. They're fighting a demon, right? One of my players turns away from the demon because it just hurt their ally, and they're running over to their ally to heal them. But the demon gets a free hit on them because they ran away from it and turned their back on it. And the demon just fucking kills them, just smashes them to smithereens while they're trying to save their friend's life. But despite this like horrible tragedy, the rest of the team, seeing that, like rallied and kicked that demon's ass all the way back to the hells. So life or death scenarios and like cliffhangers and action-packed moments with like real gravitas that you and your friends craft, in your fucking brains, or with the help of minis and stuff. That stuff happens all the time. That's, the life of an adventurer is fraught with peril. So yeah, you're gonna get moments like that all the time. You got anything?
There was a time, it was a couple of sessions ago, there was a city guard who caught me going through some stuff I wasn't supposed to. I successfully knocked him out, and while I was still going through stuff, he came to.
Bro, what?
And I was able to convince him that I was also knocked out,
Oh my god.
and that we were
incredible.
in this together, and that we should be looking for the perpetrator who
That's so
did
good.
this. And he went back to the guardhouse
That's so good.
and got a party together, and I was able to get away
Hell yeah.
scot free
Wow.
just by the
Scot-free.
just by the roll of the dice.
Give this man a round of applause.
I'm mostly giving up for Scott Free. That was
Yeah.
perfect.
That's very well done.
right.
Is this is this guy? Is he doing pretty good? I feel like he's
No,
got
that's rad
He's
as
got the
fuck.
chops for this.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
You're
No,
a
he's
pro.
kicking ass.
I try.
And on the other side of the
Yes.
table, keep it coming, Andy. You got more?
Yeah.
Did that
Like,
answer
what-
your question?
Yeah. Like what is
There's a
the-
fourth quarter comeback. It could happen
All the
at
time.
any time.
Anytime.
I like that. All right. So what's the qualities that make the best players then? Like creativity, luck.
That's a fucking excellent question.
Like
Yeah.
because the context of this is my shout out friend of the show, Dom Moretto. I lived with him for 7 years, and for the last half of that, he played a Dungeons and Dragons game on his computer with his friends via Zoom for like the last 3.5 years.
Very
and it was
cool.
like a couple hours every Monday night. So I'm only hearing he has headphones in, so I'm only hearing his side. I have no clue.
Absolute
I'm
gibberish.
just sitting
Can
there
you give us some
watching
sound bites?
Monday
For
Night
sure.
Football, and all of a sudden I'll just hear Dom from the other room and just say the most random shit, and I
Yeah.
literally have no
I need
clue what it
+3 to
is.
kill the kobold.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But most of the time it was like complete silence, and I was
Yeah.
like, what is this game?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no idea what's
Yeah,
happening.
Just sitting there looking.
He's, yeah, he's
Coming to the back door.
yeah.
Get the children. Save the children.
Yeah, he's
like-
because he's just listening to his dungeon master like tell him a story. Yeah, that's an excellent question. What makes a good player? I'm sure you've got opinions on it. Have you ever run? Are you running a campaign?
I
right
have
now?
not run a campaign, but I am on the cusp.
Sure. We'll talk about that later.
So you might be people that are thinking about buying tickets to this right now. You might be giving them the inside scoop on what to bring if you're coming to compete and like do well.
Yeah, if you see this show and you decide you want to start playing Dungeons and Dragons on your own,
Okay.
you can email me or start up your own game, whatever. But the qualities that make up a good player, there's the joke answers like punctuality and manners,
Yes.
good, bodily cleanliness are good things. But specifically for Dungeons and Dragons, generosity is a very important thing. You want to be able to know when you're in the spotlight and know when the other players get the spotlight, or know when to just like be quiet and let the DM tell a story. You need to have creativity, absolutely. But even if you are more of a nuts and bolts type of person, there's still plenty of tactics and math to get into if you want to lean that direction. But you need to have an open mind. You need, a little bit of empathy. And a lot of it comes down to, at least for me, a lot of it just comes down to like basic communication skills. Any problem I've had at the table is because there was a misunderstanding, or because somewhere along the way communication broke down, and instead of handling it maturely, things get into tensions and screaming matches and things like that. And the beautiful thing about Dungeons and Dragons is, unless you're doing something on Zoom, well, even then you're playing a game collaboratively. You're not trying to get one over on the people playing the game with you. You're a unit working together to achieve a goal. And if you're playing fucking, Call of Duty online, you're throwing racial slurs at strangers, there's 16-year-olds griefing you and calling you just unbelievable things that I won't sell your podcast with. But
Wow.
if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you are looking people in the eye and trying to achieve things together, and that takes a little bit of communication skills, social skills, empathy. You have to know how to read the room.
Be
and
vulnerable.
things like that. Vulnerability for
vulnerability,
You gotta be willing to
100%.
be,
Yeah.
put your, get off your high horse and get ready to be humble city, and like we're a community. You gotta be ready to work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And be vulnerable enough to like share the weird, dumb shit in your head. Like, what's
Yeah.
your character?
It brings out the leaders in people.
Yeah, like for Scotty to say like, I made a dwarf and his name is Halfbeard, and speak in the voice and get, that takes a level of vulnerability that not everyone has, because they get all, weird and in their own head about like, oh, I'm just talking about some weird goblin shit. It's like, we want the weird goblin shit. That's the whole reason we're here, So yeah, vulnerability, openness, just woo-woo shit like that is kind of
Love it.
what I think makes a good player.
Collaboration. Just be open to work with your team.
Mm-hmm.
Social skills and teamwork are hard for a lot of people. So
Yes,
that makes sense.
It is, but this just brings you in. Like if you just allow yourself the opportunity, it will be like nothing you've ever done before.
I have watched nerdy introverts that get awkward in social situations, like fully embody these avatars. It is a bit like a security blanket. You get to step away from yourself, and now you're Heinrich the Glorious, and you have a sword and you have agency, and you can kill the bad guys and save the world and all that stuff. You can defend the weak, and so you will find yourself over hours of play, especially if you have a good DM that buys in. If your friends are there with you, like urging you on, you will lose that sense of self, and you'll fully embody this hero you made, which you made, right? It is imbued with the qualities you wanted. What role did you want to play? I want to play a charismatic sorcerer. Well, there you go. You're a hottie and you throw fireballs, and you want to be that person, so you slip more and more into like, I'm, you know, Alicia the Cinder, and you're, you know, I've seen people completely transformed by this game, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Come live your
awesome.
most epic life.
Yeah, I like to think of Dungeons and Dragons as a wish fulfillment engine. That's
for sure.
the
And it's-
woo-woo way I like to describe it.
And the life lesson part of it's the classic old thing of like life in like someone else's shoes. Like you're now forced to just like figure out problems about this other person that's not you,
Absolutely.
and you're gonna walk out of it like, man, I just had a totally different perspective.
Yeah. If you're patient and you keep an open mind, you will not only like develop social skills playing this game, but you'll like, you know, make friends and have a weekly ritual that you can anchor your entire life and personality around, like I have, and then you can get tattoos about D&D, and you can, you know, it'll take over your whole life in the best possible way.
All right, let's stick to the event for a second, and then we'll transition to just some more like general topics because I got some like ideas about like D&D and some thoughts for you guys. So on the event itself, Scotty, any other questions, thoughts? You've been before, you're going back. Any other questions? Why you got Sam right here next to you?
Any requests?
Ooh,
Let's do
that's
that.
even
I'm
better.
here.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
You want to make a cold shot?
request.
Is Halfbeard going to show up in this thing?
Oh
Get a
my
cameo?
god.
What's
hey.
that? What's that character?
Oh my god.
That you will never play again? We could throw them in there. Do you got any requests?
This is amazing.
I was a let me see here. I was a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Paladin. What is the robot?
A Warforged.
A
paladin?
warforged paladin.
Done.
Yeah, his name was Sentry.
Hell yeah.
He was the,
Sentry's in the adventure.
Oh man. He was the guardian
Guys, Scotty is
of
nerding
level
out
5
so hard.
dungeon that collapsed. He was stuck to this dungeon. He could never leave.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Everybody was dead. Everybody left, and the dungeon collapsed. So he was free to leave and
Mhm.
live his life.
That's rad. Yeah. Sentry's in it.
Are you
Nice.
you're just customizing the show right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
That's-
Well, when,
That's how it works.
when you're as good as me,
Right, you can do it all.
You can just throw in whatever you want.
What
It's
are
fine.
what other requests do you get for like these live shows now that you know that
yeah.
you're-
Do you make these characters, or do you allow your
That's
your-
a great
your team
question.
to kind of just-
I let them, Tree and Elena and Connor, make their own characters because I want them to be as, you know, as familiar with them and as connected with them as possible. So they make their own stuff, and I think what we're kind of changing it up. So for this show and any future shows, they're gonna have the same characters going forward. So
okay?
the adventures
Wow.
will change, but they'll be portraying the same characters, and that way, you know, every show we do, they'll get more comfortable, better, you know, immersed in the unique voices of these characters, and you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, we've got well, we'll wait till the show to let everyone know what they're playing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't remember last time. What level did they start at? Was this-
they were level 5 last
Level
time.
5,
We're gonna
yeah.
do level 5
That's-
this time as
that's
well.
a good starting level.
All right,
It
so
is.
like you say that, you know, I'm a person that doesn't know D&D.
Sure.
Do I need to know this level 5 thing?
Oh, no.
It-
So there's that's a great thing about this show is that there's 2 tracks. If you don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
you get to go to City Winery, you get to have some brunch, and you get to watch some comedians tell funny stories, make jokes on a stage.
You did it. You just sold me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Non-D&D,
that's all it
I've
is.
been sold. Okay, go with
And
the other
if,
track.
and if you are super into D&D, then what we're doing is a level 5 homebrew one-shot with 3 player characters.
This is not a Starbucks order.
No. And yeah, we should wrap it up in about an hour and a half.
All right, so shows can go this way, they can go that way. In your mind, what's the perfect show for it to be a perfect show whenever you all walk out of there? What does that mean for everybody?
I think most of that just means the audience buying in and participating. The way we run these, we don't want the audience like shouting out like prompts for the players or anything, but being able to cheer their successes and boo their failures every time we roll a dice and they slip on a banana peel and smash their face and stuff, getting that very satisfying reaction from the crowd is great. And yeah, if anyone out there has ever played D&D and you haven't had the incredible, like impossible privilege of doing it on a stage in front of people, like rolling a critical hit to kill the bad guy, and then a room full of strangers applauds is so fucking surreal and incredible. It's amazing. And also, rolling a 1 and stepping on your own dick and having an entire room of people boo is also just fucking hilarious subjectively. So
Very good. Fair share, man. Andy Giggler, you got any other questions?
Nope, just a comment. After I watched the movie last night, I took a BuzzFeed article or quiz to figure out which one I would be.
Mm-hmm.
I am a artificer, bard, or rogue.
Okay,
just had to throw that out.
What's
there.
that mean?
That's a wide
wide
net.
swath.
That's
yeah.
my starting point. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Do
Maybe
you
I'll just
like?
be-
Do you like? Well, let's do this. What kind of? Who's your favorite superhero? Let's start there.
Batman.
Batman, of course. Well, that kind of just screams rogue, don't you think?
Yeah, a
it's
little
kind of
bit.
right there. You want to like skulk in the shadows, strike fear into the hearts of your enemies, then take them
Oh,
down quickly and
God,
efficiently.
yes.
That's a rogue. So you're
That's
a rogue.
me.
Andy's
That was
taking notes.
quick. That was so quick.
So
Yeah.
that's like you have a jumping in point now. Now what does he do?
I thought I was gonna be a wizard that just.
I mean, he saw the movie.
You can-
He's
I mean-
talking to you. You just told him what type of character he'd be. Like,
Sure, yeah.
He's on the journey right now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but if you ever wanted to, play Dungeons and Dragons, I would run a one shot for you guys on mic, anytime you fucking wanted to.
Do it on the mic.
Yeah,
We could do it like it can happen.
you three make some characters. I run you through like an hour-long one shot, and you can see what this fucking game's all about. If you wanted to, I'm
that
just saying,
sounds
that's the thing we
fun
can
as
do.
hell. What do you think?
think you just.
I'm down
Could-
anytime.
Because you're a veteran.
I would love to play Dungeons
Do
and
you-
Dragons
do you-
every day.
Do you think us two would have fun? Like me and Andy?
Absolutely.
It'd be like
we
a
would.
blast.
Yeah.
You just planned a future episode.
Oh man.
Just
we
saying.
got like
It's out there.
the mostly one shot. Like Jesus. It's already got a brand.
Yep.
All right, man. Dungeons and Dragons, April 7th, 12 p.m. Doors open at 11 a.m. City Winery STL at the City Foundry here in St. Louis.
Mhm.
Sam the Dungeon Master doing it again. Can't wait. I had some thoughts on just Dungeons and Dragons. Like my brain goes to like you're writing this. You've got your one shot, your story that's going to be your adventure that's
Mhm.
going to be published. And Scotty, talking about Scotty creating characters on his own and what it takes to like kind of put together these stories. And then I can see the appeal from like you're playing with your friends for years on these campaigns,
Mhm.
which are really just like epic stories. Like you're just kind of like a star in your own TV show. Like,
Absolutely.
it's like Doctor Who, but like you're in it.
Absolutely.
And so like I feel like is your show is Bubbles and Bards like starting you've already made the transition to where like same characters in every show.
Mhm.
So is there always kind of like a little tongue in cheek, like kind of like maybe a throwback to, memories from the show before to where like is this like it's like a Broadway musical where like it goes forever except it's always a different show.
Is this going to be an episodic thing where we reference previous adventures? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if I get to do that many that we could do callbacks and shit. Fingers crossed.
Let's help you right now because what have they done? What have they done so far? Right, they did the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is like the mainstream. That's just like one adventure, right? With like characters.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
And then you got like your podcast. Plug it again.
Challenge rating 0 available wherever you find podcasts.
And Critical Role. Like we know Critical Role, right?
Yeah, absolutely
Like-
massive. Yeah.
Like these are shows.
Dimension 20.
And people listen
Adventure
to these.
Zone.
I was just listening to the new Adventure Zone on the way here.
And why do you
Verse
that's
Dracula.
That's Griffin again, right?
Yeah.
That Dracula accent's a lot, man.
And you're
It's a lot.
tuning in because of why? Like you're hearing them play and have the story. You're just an audience member. There.
Absolutely. The incredible thing about this game is, brass tacks, the simplest way to describe it, Dungeons and Dragons is a board game with storytelling elements. And if you lean really hard into the storytelling elements, what you've got in an actual play podcast is you've got something like a book on tape mixed with improv theater. You are listening to a story be told on microphones with sweeping, scope, with very well thought out heroes having these incredible moments of heroism and loss and tragedy, and you don't control what happens even if you're the dungeon master because you have to roll a dice and let fate decide stuff. So whether or not you kill that bad guy, whether or not you survive the enemy spell, that comes down to the dice, and you just have to take that and roll, just keep going forward in the narrative regardless of what the result is. And so yeah, you get these incredibly meaningful stories. And yeah, the first D&D podcast I ever discovered was the Adventure Zone Balanced. And yeah, by the end of that fucking show, I was crying my eyes out the last episode.
Yeah.
It's got pathos,
it can be
it's got
lighter
stakes.
than light. It could be so deep and
Yeah.
heavy.
And it can swing back and forth in
yeah.
2 fucking seconds.
Oh, for sure.
That swing, it's a dick joke over here, and then oh my god, like they're dying. We have to have this
Yeah.
incredible death scene and all this shit.
Imagine like Game of Thrones, but all the actors are people from Whose Line.
Right. It's improv.
Yeah.
And it's just happening kind of
Mhm.
on the way.
Yeah. And so it really lends itself well to the podcast medium, which I don't think I have to explain too much to all your listeners. It's it's an incredibly niche market, but D&D podcasts are fucking everywhere. Mine is a, small addition to an enormous mountain of them, many of which are, far more popular and better produced than mine. But yeah, it works well in the podcasting medium, and it works well live on stage as well for the exact same reasons. You're watching an action story unfold.
Well, I think the differentiator for you is being able to bring a lot more non-D&D folks like into the mix.
Mhm.
And then if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and you see on your computer screen or on your phone a live D&D brunch, you better buy these tickets and go, man.
For sure.
Make sure that you're there if you're a D&D fan. If you're teetering like Andy, like get on over there. And then if you're someone maybe like me that's just kind of like out there, you're still going to attend a show, have a beautiful experience, and do something with people from your community, like all in this together for an hour and a half.
For sure.
2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lovely thing. And for my own sake, if I'm very fortunate that I'm the first person in this town to, think of doing this shit. The people always ask me like, oh, how do you become a professional dungeon master? And I always just tell them like, you have the audacity to ask people to pay you. That's, when it comes down to it, it's like, hey, I need money for that. They're like, okay, how much? Then you have to figure out how much, which is anyone with a small business knows the struggle there. But
we understand.
Well, you see a need.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I'm on all kinds of like Dungeons and Dragons, like local groups on Facebook, and what do you see? Every other post is, we need a DM.
Yep.
We need a DM.
Yep.
Oh, well, there's so many people that need them. They've got to pay for them.
That's it. It's a service.
Yeah,
it's a service.
There is
For
a
sure.
market for it. I will say because this can be controversial sometimes for exactly that reason. I will say, I'm a little mercenary about it, but in an ideal world, no one would ever have to pay someone to run a D&D game for them. And I hope that world comes into existence somehow. But until then, I would run a game for everyone on the planet if I could, but I'm one guy. I have a day job. I have bills to pay. So, if I can bring all of my experience and all my tools to bear and get compensated for it, yeah, this is America. Unfortunately, I'm not above the, capitalist hellscape that we all reside in. But, my hope is that anyone that comes to a show, you go online, you figure out how to play yourself, and you run a game for yourself. Or if you hire me once, you enjoy the experience, you go get some books, and, anyone can buy a player's handbook and learn how to play this game. If you don't feel like doing that, hit me up, samthedm.com. But, yeah, I think I've never met a single person that played this game and didn't love it, period.
Hell yeah, man. We are nerding out, getting deep into the Dungeons and Dragons world. That's what I like. Any other questions for Sam while we got him before we get into coming up and then start wrapping up the show?
I think we got it.
I think we got it too, man. I'm really excited. Sam, thanks so much for coming back in.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Excited to come to your show via Scotty. Scotty will be there in person. And like I said, we could definitely get some people there. Enter to win at mostlysuperheroes.com/contest. Go check out Sam the DM at samthedm.com. Get your tickets for the City Winery show at citywinery.com. So go get your tickets. All right, we got a lot coming up on the show. I love Sam. Sam's been smiling at all the
Coming up.
bumpers. I meant what I said. You have a setup at your house. You record the
Bumpers,
words you
man.
want.
They're so good.
I'll make you some of these bumpers, man. We got a lot happening on the show. We're really excited. We got guests like Sam coming in. We got more artists coming in as well, coming into the show that are going to be performing at City Winery, and also a whole lot of movies and TV to talk about. So some interviews coming up. Frankie Camboletta, if you're into true crime podcasts, we got some really great stuff for you. He's also a local radio host. We're going to be at the Royale Food and Spirits. Awesome place off Kings Highway.
That restaurant. That place kicks ass, man.
Steve Smith, the owner over there, is going to sit down with us and just hang out at his spot.
Hell yeah. Love the Royale. It's great.
We're going to do a Star Wars timeline episode, just like break it wide open, because why not? Tim Convey's coming on the podcast. Ludo, punk rock, and 106.5 The Arch. Definitely a local legend, but he's stand-up comedy getting big. And Ludo fans, Scotty,
Hell yeah.
you're pumped for that.
I am, for sure.
I didn't recognize that name at first. He's in Ludo? He's in the band Ludo?
Yeah, he's the keyboards, and
No shit.
I mean, he's the guy you're going to see jumping around on stage.
Well, I apologize for not recognizing that name when you said earlier. I fucking love Ludo. That band kicks ass.
For sure.
Oh, my God.
Get ready for that episode. We're going to do some really nerdy stuff. Logan Winter cosplay. He's a 6-year-old kid. His dad makes his outfits, and they have blown up. He goes to every movie premiere. Marvel and DC are all about him. Epic costumes. Can't wait to have him back on the show. It's been a few years. He came on a few years ago. He was probably 4 years old the last time he was on the show with his dad, and now he's like 6 or 7. We're going to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Because it came
All
out.
right, I'll do it.
We have to talk about it. Are you kidding me?
Have y'all seen it yet?
I guess I'll have to watch
I
that.
watched
It's
it.
on HBO.
I watched it last week.
I'll have to watch it again.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks for you.
I didn't plan on watching it again, but I will now.
We're screening, me and Andy get to screen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire a week early, so you'll be getting a fresh review, mainly for our patrons, and a full episode coming out after that. We're doing episodes of The Snack, bite-sized episodes. We got The Defenders, the MCU saga. Can't wait for that. A couple fan episodes, Dan and Mason. You know who you are. Andy, you go tell
Mason
and
wants
Sam.
my sister to be on the pod instead. So
That's fine. And Sam, the sleeper from Team Jakey, needs to get Mason. Or did you say Mason?
Dan.
I get them
Pimmel.
mixed up.
Pimmel, I think.
We're going to have to get these guys in the same episode.
Yeah,
maybe.
that'd be fine.
and-
Full-on fan mail episode.
And the big one that I'm really counting down to is X-Men 97. Really pumped for this series that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though
And there's some controversy.
the creator of the show just got fired yesterday.
Yeah.
Do we know why?
No.
Um,
Well, he had a-
I
Go
heard
I
ahead,
hope
Scott.
it wasn't
speculation.
for the usual reason.
I heard some
So,
speculation.
I think it was a little.
Apparently, he has an OnlyFans,
Oh, that's the
That's all.
speculation. I
which
heard.
was non-nudity related until it was nudity related.
Well, some
And-
guy makes little porn.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And that's just a rumor that I heard
Okay.
from a number of different places.
I didn't realize this was kind of place where you just put spurious rumors out
That's
there.
right.
know.
It's called, well, we have a segment called News and Rumors.
And rumors.
I also heard this
You're
news
right.
and rumors, but it's unverified.
Yeah, we'll see.
Twitter
Yeah.
activity.
You
Sorry,
make-
X activity.
You make a little homemade erotica, then you get kicked off a goddamn TV show. What's this country coming to?
Yeah. Thought this was America.
Well,
Do we have time to pitch my OnlyFans, or are we
Go
is it
ahead.
too late for that?
Go
Let's
ahead.
go.
Let's hear it.
No, now I'm embarrassed.
Well, no, we're gonna
You're all
chip
looking
in.
at me. I don't know. I'm embarrassed.
We've
I'm
had some
sorry.
pitches of like under the table cams.
Yeah. For the
Yeah,
Patreon patrons only.
Well, it'd be
who
like
would-
OnlyFans.
Who
I mean,
wouldn't want to stare at all these denim swathed crotches?
yeah, this is
delicious.
just for you guys. Let me ask you this, Sam. Have you ever eaten at
the sub is coming from inside the house.
Have you ever eaten the Gramophone?
Oh yeah, me and my girl eat there all the time. They're fucking great.
What you eatin'?
So incredible.
What you eating? That's the segment where we tell you what we're eating. Local restaurant features, usually the Gramophone in the Grove, St. Louis, Missouri. Definitely one of the friends of the show at this point. We are going to get some sandwiches from the Gramophone. I'm going to go back and get myself a half the jive with a mac and cheese because that's what I get. That's my order. Giggler, what would you get?
Always the mac and cheese. From there, I think I'll go with the meatball. Always.
Oh shit.
Okay, Scotty Scoop, what are you ordering?
I think the last time I had a delicious cheese only selection, but I don't recall the name.
Sorry, the
I
big,
got you.
the Big Willie's meatball. Got to call it that. The proper name.
Big
Although
Willie's
that
props to Big
meatball.
Willie.
Fight Club is looking like it might be up my alley.
So Scotty might get the Fight Club with roast beef. Okay, Sam, the DM, what do you and your partner get?
When I go to the Gramophone, I get the Mississippi Nights Club because they put fucking chips on it. And if you're not getting a sandwich from like a restaurant with chips on it, the fuck you even doing? They put Billy Goat chips on that shit?
Yep,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Billy
Billy
Goat
Goat
Kicker.
Kicker chips. So there's flavored chips on the sandwich, which just makes it better. I think my girl, what does my girl get? I don't know.
Come on.
Hold on. Let's not freak out here.
All right,
The Italian
while you're-
Yardbird is also
I'll
very
help you. The
delicious.
Danimal's a classic. The Helper's a classic.
Danimal's
The
good.
Frenchie's a
What does she get?
classic.
Scroll down. She gets what, the People's something? There's like a People's thing. I forget. Oh my god, she's gonna be so upset.
Unbelievable
with me.
specials all the time too.
Specials, daily
Sounds there.
specials.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, if you're not eating the Gramophone, you're fucking up. Go there,
yeah.
get a sandwich there or to go, and get a beer. I got some friends that play music up there. It's the shit.
Yes, live music. They got the sandwiches. They got the vibe. And Courtney and John and everybody over there will help you out. We love the Gramophone in the Grove. Thanks for that, guys. All right, we'll do a cold close. Mostly Superheroes, the podcast. Check us out at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, mostlysuperheroes.com. Watch us on YouTube and Spotify. Give us a sign-off, giggler.
Oh man, watch your emails, my friends, because the newsletter's coming.
That's
I'm
right.
going home, continuing this very long day, and I'm gonna write this bad boy.
Wow.
We'll get it out to your eyes soon enough.
It's been great putting all of us to work lately.
It has. We're like a rocket ship that's about
Collaborative
to take the
effort.
fuck off. So I'm ready.
That's right. Scotty Scoop, what you got?
Oh man, I'm excited to be on vacation next week.
Big.
Going to see Too Many Zoos at Del Mar Hall. That's going to be a real good, exciting show.
You're going to be seeing Too Many Zoos. We're going to be seeing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire that same night. Andy's also
Nice.
seeing Roadhouse a little early on Monday night.
I'm ready for that.
Sam the DM, final plugs and goodbyes, my friend.
I am Sam the DM, St. Louis's premier professional practitioner of all things Dungeons and Dragons. You can go to samthedm.com to hire me or contact me. You can listen to my podcast, Challenge Rating 0, wherever you find podcasts. In a couple months, you can get my book. Go to spacepenguininc.com to buy their awesome shit and keep an eye out for my next book coming up on April 7th. Doors at 11, show at noon. We got Bubbles and Bards, a live D&D event coming at you at the City Winery STL. And I think that's everything.
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror.
See you there. This has been the podcast. I'm your host, Logan. Thanks for tuning in to Mostly Superheroes, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Kerrigan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.